Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to do a tool bag tour of my plumbing service tool bag. This is the bag that I use every day. It sees a lot of use and I bring it with me to most calls. So I'm going to give you a tour of all the tools that I carry, and I'm also going to do a review of the bag itself kind of as we go. The tool bag is a Husky 20-inch open top Pro bag, I think it's called. I've had the bag for about 2 years and it's been really good. It's held up well to everyday use. There are a lot of things that I like about the bag and then a few things that I don't like about the bag, so I'll kind of address those as we go. But I'll just start with the tools in this front side here. I really like the size of these two pockets. They hold my plumbing pliers really well, my main pliers that I use. They're the Irwin Vice Grip with the quick acting jaws. I carry the 10-inch and the 8-inch V-groove style jaws. And I got these a while back for $25 for both sets. So for that price, they've done really well and I've been really happy with them. In this next pocket, I keep a set of Knipex side cutters and these Weha industrial needle nose pliers. These are super smooth action and a really comfortable grip on them. In this pouch here, I just keep a tin of plumbing grease. I'm sure everybody is aware of these channel lock code blue adjustable wrenches. Really smooth. Definitely one of my favorite tools to use. And finally is just a 9-inch Empire torpedo level. On this end is just a tape clip. I keep a 16-foot Stanley Fat Max. And then this small pouch here that doesn't see much use, I keep a couple of aerator tools and a tub drain tightening tool, and then just a couple of common Allen wrenches for mowing faucets and things like that. On the back side here is a pretty cool pocket, just a sliding pocket for a small saw or something. I actually hate this saw and I hate when I have to use it, but it does come in handy once in a while, so it's nice to have, and this is the perfect pocket to carry it in. And then I just have my different style of tin snips. These are the Wiss. I think these ones are called the Wiss Edge. They're a few more bucks, but I believe they're sharper, and rather than just the plastic handle, they have a bit of rubber here, so it's a bit more of a comfortable grip on this. And then for the greens, I just found these not too long ago on clearance at my local Home Depot for like $9, so I was happy when I found those. On this end is just a tape loop where I keep some Teflon tape, and then two main bigger pouches. In this pouch, all I keep is a small multi-bit stubby by Milwaukee. And then in this side, it's a set of Husky ratcheting wrenches. So these ones actually, the box end ratchets, but then the open end also ratchets. It has a small pin right there, so when you're tightening, and then when you go to loosen, that pin depresses, and so it gives it that ratcheting effect. And it's a 5-piece set, but the main one that I use is the 5/8. Most typical supply lines, the nut on them is 5/8. So you could be underneath a sink holding a shut-off valve and tightening the supply line on it in a really tight space with that open end. So that's really nice and it comes in handy. that's the outside. And so as for the inside, as you can see, it looks pretty cluttered, but there's a few features that we'll get into. There's a lot of different trays and dividers and things that that do help keep you organized. So this main bucket here has a big pouch here, a bigger bucket here and here, and then 4 smaller dividers in the center here. And this whole unit is removable. So in this first main spot, I just keep plumber's putty and some pipe dope, and then down in the bottom of it, just some ABS glue. In the other bigger pouch, I keep most of my nut drivers and screwdrivers. And this is one downside of the tool bag, of this tool bag, in my opinion. There's no real great spot to hold nut drivers and screwdrivers, so I end up just sticking them all in this bucket. So what I carry are these maximum screwdrivers. I carry a number 2 Phillips and a small flathead. And then for nut drivers, I have these Lennox brand ones. Except for the 5/16, I lost it, so I just have this older style plastic handle. It's a Fuller. And then the other sizes that I carry are 3/8, 7/16, and 1/2 inch. Next, I'll show you what I carry in each of the 4 smaller compartments in here. In the one slot, all I carry is this light. I'm pretty sure this is the exact same design as the clip light, but this one is called Prime Light. If you haven't seen them, they're pretty handy. They have magnets on the bottom, so you can stick them anywhere you want, and then they swivel and kind of lock into different positions. And then on the back, it also has a hook and another magnet on it. In this little pocket divider here, I just keep a variety of these faucet wrenches. These are like specific ones that come in different brands of faucets, so Moen and Delta, things like that. In this one here, I just keep a Cline non-contact voltage tester, a regular Olfa knife, a pack of replacement blades, and this mini scraper tool, which is awesome. It has a replaceable blade on it, and it's just really handy for if you're replacing a faucet or something like that, just scraping off the old silicone so you're working with a clean surface. So just a really cheap tool, but really handy tool to have. And in this final smaller compartment right here, there's just some miscellaneous smaller things that I'll show you. So just a small set of needle nose pliers, a regular Sharpie, a telescoping magnet tool, a small 6-inch adjustable wrench, a couple of replacement blades for that mini hacksaw, and then a small Phillips head screwdriver, which mostly just gets used for like poking old dried up silicone tubes and things like that. So that's this middle compartment that comes out, and then so when that's in there, I like to keep this in here just because it gives me more slots and more spaces to keep things compartmentalized and organized. But you can take that out if you'd rather just have a bigger open space where you can lay some tools flat down in there. Well, on either side of this tray, there's kind of a space between the bag and the tray in the front and in the back. So in the one slot, I just keep my hammer. This hammer is really old, as you can see. All the plastic is cracked off of it, and it has this really ridiculous hook on it, which actually really sucks when you're trying to dig a trench or use it for any kind of prying or anything like that. I've actually bought myself a new hammer already. I just haven't replaced it in my bag. And then in this other long slot, I keep my main plastic pipe cutters. These are Reed brand, and in my opinion, these are the best plastic cutters that you can use, that you can buy. I've used a lot of different brands and a lot of different styles of cutters like this, and like, don't get me wrong, I really like rigid products. I have a lot of rigid stuff, but I think these Reed ones are just a lot better, a lot smoother, and they just seem really durable. I've been super happy with them. These ones are pretty big. They cut up to 3-inch pipe. I recently saw on Amazon that you can get these reed cutters that only go up to 1.5 inches, which I might invest in, just because I'd say about 80% of the time I'm just cutting 1.5 inch pipe, so I could always just keep these in the van and then keep that smaller set in here just to save on a bit of space and a bit of weight in the bag. So then in each corner, oh sorry, before I do that, I'll just do these two here. And there's a couple of inside pockets. I have just a set of Cline strippers, but they do like stripping, cutting, and crimping. And then in here, just a small roll of all-around strapping. So now in each of the 4 corners is another kind of removable tray, but you have to have this out to take it out. So I'll show you how all that works after, but first I'll just go through the tools. And in this front corner is the rigid faucet and sink installer. This is absolutely one of my most used and most favorite tools. If you haven't seen this before, or if you don't know what it is, there are some pretty good YouTube videos out there on this tool. I might make my own video on it just to throw my opinion on it out there, but really quickly, you can set a supply line in there and install it without having to use a basin wrench. This basically replaces a basin wrench for me. And then all these different slots here accepts different styles and brands of the plastic locking nuts with the tabs on them, the ones that always break when you try to put your pliers on them. So since they fit into these slots nicely, it's super easy just to snug it up and to make sure that you don't break them off. On the other side of this attachment is for shutoff valve. So if you ever have a shutoff valve that's kind of seized shut, rather than putting your pliers on it and risking breaking the handle, which I have done, this is just the perfect oval shape, so you can stick it on top of the valve and just loosen it up that way. And then on this end, you can use this as a to hold basket strainers or to do tub drains for certain styles. And then this side is just to stick a screwdriver in to grab extra torque if you need it. It does have a few other features, but yeah, like I said, I might do a separate video on that. But I really love that tool. In this back corner, I keep my Allen wrenches. I keep a set of metric and imperial Allen wrenches. They're both made by Weehaw. And this set here is pretty cool because they slide out like this, which is a pretty nice feature. But then also, so normally if you wanted to, say, get at this Allen key right here, you'd have to pivot these two above it out of the way so you can lift it up out of place. Well, these have open slots at the back, so all you have to do is push it forward and pull it out. So it just makes grabbing the size you need a bit quicker. And then in this front corner, I just keep my longer screwdrivers, and this is another one of the things that I don't like about the bag. There's no good spot to hold like really long tools like that, you know, if you went to put them in there, they would just be way too loose and they would fall out of there. So I end up just kind of keeping them in that plastic container and just kind of dealing with it. But I keep a number 2 Robertson, a large beater flathead, and a long 1/4 inch Cline magnetic nut driver. And then in this final back pocket, I just keep a small tube of clear and white silicone, which just come in handy for doing really small things where I don't need to go and grab the large caulking gun. So then kind of another bad thing about this bag is I've actually run out of space, so I end up shoving tools in between the plastic divider and the actual tool bag itself. So like this putty knife here isn't actually in a pocket, it's just kind of slid in that spot. So that's just a scraper for various uses. And then same thing as this file and then this drywall saw, they don't have designated pockets. They just kind of slide in there. So it works and it holds it fairly well, but it's not ideal, I guess. So that's all the tools that I carry. So next I'll give you kind of a better look at what's going on inside this tool bag. So like I said, this main bucket comes out. These slots here are where I kept my hammer and my large pipe cutter. So if you want to keep that out and keep these 2 end pockets in, you can. Or if you want to take these end ones out, you can do that as well. There's just basically similar to a tape clip in here on both sides, and it just hooks onto here. So if you want to run the bag just like that as a big open space, you can do that too. But like I've already said, I prefer using all the compartments they give you. It just gives you more pockets and more ways to organize your tools. What else can I say about the bag? It has a hard plastic carrying handle, and then also has a shoulder strap, which is again held up really well. I've had this for 2 years, like I said. One thing to look out for is this is the nut over here that holds the handle on, and for whatever reason they like to just loosen off. And before I bought this bag, I read a bunch of reviews, and that was one of the complaints. So I've always been kind of aware of it, and every once in a while, probably every couple of weeks, I just crank down on these. So I'm aware of that issue, and I just tighten them once in a while, and I've never had that handle come off, but I'm sure if you never did tighten them, that would eventually loosen all the way off and would become an issue. On the bottom are these, I think it's like a plastic feet that keeps it, I don't know, half an inch off of the ground, so it keeps it off of wet surfaces and things like that. Like I said, I've been really happy with this bag. I don't know if there's any other bag that I'd be happier with. I've watched a lot of videos on the different Vito Pro Packs. I'm not sure how I would like the zip-up style as opposed to the open top. And I'm also not sure, like the one that I've been looking at was the Tech LC. And so my kind of concern is, will it be able to hold bigger tools like this and hammers and cans of glue and things that I want to be able to carry with me every day. I don't want to have to go and grab those from the van every time I need them or carry them in my arms. I like that I can carry all of that stuff in here. So if you have a Vito Pro Pack or any other tool bag, and you carry these types of larger tools and cans of glue and things like that, and it's either working out for you or not working out for you, please, I'd be really interested to know that in the comments. That would be really helpful for me. Yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions about any of the tools that I have or the bag itself, I'll be happy to answer them. But that should be it. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. And the last thing that I forgot to mention, guys, is that this is my main service bag. I have a totally separate tool bag that has all of my soldering and all of my PEX stuff in it. So if I know that I need to be doing any water pipe work, I can just go ahead and grab that bag, but rather than carry it all with me all of the time. So if there is any interest to see how I have my soldering kit set up, then let me know and I can shoot a video on that.